Whenever you study the energies of a land, it's important to see for what reason you do it, because there are so many different energies that it's almost impossible to have every detail. So the whole purpose of what we did now was to see, okay, what do we need to give as information to give you a good impression of the main energies that this land has, that are consciously or unconsciously influencing everything that you're doing. Because that is what is happening. It is there, and when it's there, it's really a part of the land, and you can say the morphic field of the land. So that's why it's good to look at the different layers. And I like to summarize those layers for you, because when we do that, it's more easy to explain the function of the different energies and the effect that different energies have. Yeah. So the first layer is the layer what I call the natural energies of the land. There are many different aspects of that natural layer, and some of them we will mention because they are important for understanding the field that is existing here. And the next layer is the layer of, you could say, consciousness. In effect, every plant and animal species is part of that consciousness, but we specifically refer to what we call the human consciousness, because that is what is mostly affecting the land. And within that consciousness there are different layers, and it's actually interesting. That is where the differences between the different places really comes into our awareness, because it's depending on who has been living here before, and not that's not standard. You know, you cannot say that what I have discovered here I can transplant it somewhere else, because that's not true. So the main things here actually are the Yavapai Apache, who have lived here in this area, and that are the people that we call the Sinaguas, where most of the ruins in this area are made from, like the one that's up there. And you can say what some people call motherland or Mu. So that are actually the three main layers, and there are remnants of all three right now on this land, so we will come back to that. And then there is the layer that you can call the interaction between the earth and mankind and the star systems. And those places are by many indigenous people called the places where you connect with the ancestors. Because specifically I think in the Americas, but not only that, even in Taiwan we came across the same thing. The belief is that the ancestors are coming from the stars. Specifically the Pleiadians and the Sirians, but other groups are mentioned as well. So the ancestors, often when they refer to it, they refer to the star people, not always to, for example, the Sinaguas or the motherland people. So we always have to figure out what they mean with the ancestors, really. But all these layers are actually creating that total energy field that you can call the energy field of the land. And the way we did it was by using Jeannie's ability to walk from one energy spot to the next, so that we could check those different spots and get an overall idea of what are the main energies. Because you may understand that the surrounding areas are co-creating this energy field. To give an example, if you take a vortex that is resonating with our chakras, which belongs to the natural system of the earth, we talk about an area that is covered with a diameter of almost 20 miles. So you may understand that if there are several of those vortexes of that size, that they're all overlapping, and that we actually are living in a sea of energy. And it is quite fascinating that we have lost the ability to feel in that sea of energy. And we are walking in it, and we are walking it all the time. It is only when we feel certain differences that we may pick up some, so people who are a little bit sensitive can pick up, or you have to have a quality like Jeannie has, because he can pick up those specific energies and go from one center of that energy system to the other center of that energy system, and I think that's quite a quality to do that. And then, as soon as she has found them, then I come with my little dowsing rod and check what kind of specific energies did she guide us to go to help to understand what it is. Now, to start with, I think it's important to start with the natural energies first, because that is, let's say, the coloration of the energy within which everything is happening. And those energies, there are two layers, you can say. They're all subtle energies. I'm not talking about electromagnetic energies. That's a different story. That is where, you know, the cracks are, where there is magma flowing, where there is water flowing. Those are important. They are not the ones that our consciousness is mostly interacting with. They may have some effect on the physical, but I haven't felt any of those that are having a negative physical effect in this area. So we don't have to look at those particular energies. So we go to what is called the subtle energies, and there are two groups. You have the lower frequency, and that are the ones that are all small grids. Within this house there are many of those. And a number of those grids, which all have distances between, let's say, 2.5 yards up till about 10 yards. Those grid systems are only having or giving an effect on us when they are out of balance. Normally, under natural circumstances, they don't work. And they have all kinds of names like Hartman and Curry and Banker grids. And there is actually only one point that I found on the land that is disturbing. Is the one down there here in the house. And I will come back to that in a minute, because there are other reasons why it's there and what the cause is. So for the rest, it's all good in balance, which is totally different from any city circumstance, because there those grid systems are completely out of whack. And that's why people have the problems of sleeping on cross points or bad lines, as the story goes. And it's called geopathic stress. Here we don't have that. This is one of the gifts of living in an area like this, compared to living in an area where there is tremendous dense activity of people who disrupt that particular kind of grid systems. Very important is what I call the higher subtle energy systems, because they resonate directly with our own energy systems. That tells how this particular land from a natural perspective is supporting the people that are coming here. And they, for the sake of simplicity, the names that because there are no names, they don't exist. But the names that I've given them is the ones that resonate with our meridians and the one that resonate with our chakras. So we call them, for the sake of simplicity, meridian lines or chakra lines. And there are 3 lines that are, and vortexes that are directly influencing here. Well, the good thing of a meridian vortex is that it has a very good, strong effect on balancing, you can say, the lower physical and other systems of our body. They help us to be literally coming into our body. And then what type it is gives an additional information and different balances. And there is one just outside of the house here. There is one, exactly at the stone. You know, where you come into the road, where exactly at the stone there is one of the vortexes. And there is one just next to the upper house. And we can walk later to them so that you can see them. And they help, basically, it's a stomach one that is here and the line goes through this house. So it's one of them that helps to diminish the amount of worrying that people tend to do, which is a good one. Yeah. And we have a small intestine, and the one in the center was a heart meridian. The heart meridian is the one that helps to basically take care of the whole meridian system. So it's a pretty important one. So that they are important. They are definitely helping people to get more into their body so that they are not going off their own